There is bitter land, watered with my soul. The fruit it bears leaves me so cold. This bitter land does nothing for love. This bitter land rains pain.
We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one.
Next to the celebration of King as a national holiday, street naming is recognized as one of the most prominent ways that the nation has honored civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King. There are over 900 streets that bear his name. Ironically, the most frequent characteristics on them are segregation, poverty, and violence, the exact injustices that he fought against.
The King Street or highway is the new segregation line.
King streets are found most often in places where African Americans represent at least 1/3 of the city's population. The streets are often centers of African American identity, activity, and community.
When I first entered into Martin Luther King, Negroes. Negroes is the first thing I think about. You know, because that's where you see a lot of black people at. That's just being funny, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it just, you know, it's sad to say that you think about, you know, community full of blacks, some crime, a lot of crime. It's sad to say that that's what you think about when you first enter on Martin Luther King. Now, what it originally started out being was a neighborhood or a community where we could call our own in the 60s and the 70s, even in the 80s. But as time progressed, you know, it turned into a more of a, went from a neighborhood to a hood.
If we practice his dream and realize, you know, what he was fighting for, and it's kind of unfortunate because it's kind of like we celebrate Martin Luther King on his birthday, then we talk about him 2 weeks later during Black History Month, and then March through, you know, December is kind of lost.
De facto segregation, often the concentration of African Americans in certain neighborhoods that produce schools that are predominantly black or segregated, although not by law.
You cross the railroad track to get on Martin Luther King Drive, from the railroad track till the Big Piece store is just blacks, and mainly blacks. No Caucasians.
We were it was snowing. We went outside to play in the snow, and they happened to run past their yard, and they came outside with shotguns and said, "You niggas better get out my yard." And I was like, "Oh, that's how we do in this day and age." And it had got kind of ugly, but I, you know, got my children and all the friends and everything. We went back on our side, you know, and we left it as that. But you get that here.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't really bad growing up. It was just, you know, this side of town known as low poverty, you feel me? So it's like, you know, everybody gonna be black around here. You're gonna probably see maybe 2 white people, 3, maybe 4. Might catch a couple Indian people. Yeah, a couple Indian people. You ain't gonna see too many.
No.
And like, growing up, you got curfew coming in. You gotta be in the house before the street lights get on. You know, that's your parents' curfew. Cause she already know out the door it get crazy on this side of town. So coming up like that.
Now, we are poor people. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. Did you ever think about that?
You didn't realize you were poor. You didn't realize the struggle that your mother was going through at the time, or the people around you were going through at the time, because everybody else was pretty much going through it. So as a kid, you just kind of focus on fun and, playing hide and go seek and, basketball at the court and football in the field and things like that. I mean, those were your focuses as a kid.
The most prominent establishment found on Martin Luther King streets across America are funeral homes, bail bondsmen, barbershops, and hair salons. Ironically, government offices are just as present on these streets, mainly due to the proximity of downtown.
People, I guess they say they got to make a living, they got to feed their family one way or the other, so they go and rob, they rob a store. Or they go in the store and steal food to feed their family or feed their habit.
We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
This bitter land, watered with my soul, the fruit it bears leaves me so cold. This bitter land does nothing for love.
You know what's so sad, man? You know what's wild? Martin Luther King stood for nonviolence. Now what's Martin Luther King? A street. And I don't give a fuck where you in America. If you're on Martin Luther King Boulevard, there's some violence going down. It ain't the safest place to be.
Before the drugs hit Martin Luther King Drive, it was a nice place to live at first. We were walking down Martin Luther King Drive one night, just walking, and some Caucasian men came by in a car, and they shot at us. I guess because we were just walking. I was sitting on my porch one night, and heard gunshots, and went down to the road. There was a body laying there, right near me. And gun bullets hitting off my air conditioning unit. And, it's dangerous.
Like, I remember one time I was at the basketball court my senior year, and I was a captain of the wrestling team my junior and senior year. And my coach was fighting, trying to get me a partial scholarship to college and things like that. And I pretty much had one secure. He felt I had one secure at North Carolina State, and that's where my cousin and my little girlfriend at the time were going. And I was kind of excited about that, and I got in a fight. But unfortunately, I just happened to fight a guy whose aunt was, I guess, more refined, and she called the police. So I guess my luck ran out, and the luck of the people around me ran out, because I ended up getting arrested and got into a fight at school when a white guy called me an N-word, and I got suspended that same senior year. And ironically, I lost the scholarship and and everything pertaining to wrestling, so I ended up joining the Navy.
I participated one year, and we walked down Martin Luther King Drive. We have Mother Against Gun Violence, and we have a lot of what you call it? See what I'm talking about? Yes. It's gunshots. Yes. Scary. It's not hunt season yet.
This bitter land.
If something isn't done and done in a hurry to bring the colored peoples of the world out of their long years of poverty, their long years of hurt and neglect, the whole world is doomed.
Beloved Streets of America is a nonprofit foundation created to restore the streets that bear Dr. King's name. The goal is to invest into recreation and business on the streets so that people are encouraged to visit rather than being afraid to do so.
Running on the concrete, cross the train tracks. The devil is behind me. In the ghettos where you find me. It's where I stays at. Cop shot us up. He get a medal, then retire. But it never will define me. Write a letter to the president, whoever in control of the society. Tell him stop riding me. Stop driving us into a suicidal ideology. Trying to feed my seeds. Getting high in weed, study my degrees. Stay fly, getting paper. With some dead white people faces in a circle of spaces around the green. I'm on lean, taking perks. It's a bit of earth. It's a nigga cursed in my blessed. See what I mean? It's a test.
In our criminal justice and political systems, the fight does continue in those things. Let me say this, let me be clear. They have gotten so much better, but there is so much more work to be done. And that we have to lay at the feet of young people like yourselves, the millennials. Okay, you have a tremendous legacy, but you have a tremendous charge ahead of you. And everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody has a role and responsibility.
But you know right from wrong. You know how to treat people good. Whether you're the prettiest or the ugliest, the biggest, fat, whatever, this and that. You have the money, not have the money, you're tallest, shortest, whatever, you know, blackest, lightest, you know, because we had a lot of that growing up, you know. But the thing is, just treat people good and follow that little thing inside of you when you feel like, you know, this is not right. You know, internally we all know what's right and wrong, and just try to continue to treat people right. Just treat people right, sacrifice for your family, and know your self-worth.
We don't see a lot of it no more. You know what I'm saying? I think love now has been confused and been misused a lot in a lot of ways. People say the word, but they don't think they understand what the word really means, to love one another, to love your neighbor, to love each other, you know, in the right way. You know what I'm saying? As we see in the world today, a lot of people, a lot of things are going on around us. There's a lot of chaos. But if we was to come back together and unified and learn how to love one another in the way that Martin Luther King was teaching us back then and do it today, things could go back and get back in order in the way that it should be.
It doesn't matter. Even the president, Nixon, was after him with everything in him, but because Martin Luther King would not come down from the vision, they couldn't mess with him. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him until what needed to be put in place was put in place. And his last famous speech was, "I have a dream. It's up to us to make the dream come true."
Is this a street fit for a king?
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Oh, glory, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtapositioning us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes,